Today, we need to talk about something that matters deeply to many families across Australia. Because whether we want to admit it or not, the cost of living has changed our daily lives. The price of groceries, electricity bills, rent, petrol, and even the simplest household items have been increasing, sometimes so quickly that it becomes difficult for seniors to keep up. And for those who rely on the age pension as their main source of income, these changes are not just numbers on a screen, they are real decisions that affect every part of life. Decisions like whether to turn the heater on during a cold morning, whether to buy fresh fruit or cheaper alternatives, or whether to visit a family member who lives a bit too far away. So when news began circulating about a potential $6,000 Centrelink age pension confirmation, many seniors were left wondering whether this was real, whether it was just a rumor, or whether it was something that could actually bring relief. And that is why today's update is so important. Because we are not just talking about numbers. We are talking about security, dignity, and the ability to live with peace, instead of worry. Before we begin, I want to speak directly to you, not just as someone delivering information, but as someone who understands that life today is not the same as life was 10, 20, or 40 years ago. Many of you worked hard your entire life. You built this country. You paid taxes. You raised families. You contributed in ways that are often forgotten or overlooked in today's busy world. But you deserve respect. You deserve stability. And you deserve clear, honest information about what is happening with your pension. That is why this channel exists, to explain everything clearly, slowly, and respectfully, so you never feel confused or left out. And if you find this information helpful, please take a moment and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing helps us continue to provide seniors across Australia with updates that actually matter. You do not need to pay anything, and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. But by subscribing, you make sure that every important Centrelink update reaches you first, without delay. So please click the subscribe button now if you haven't already. Now, let us begin. The discussion about the $6,000 age pension confirmation is connected to several important changes that have recently taken place in Australia's social support system. These include adjustments to the age pension rate, increases linked to cost of living pressures, and additional support programs designed to help seniors who are struggling with everyday expenses. For many people, the age pension has been the main source of income for retirement. But the challenge is that while prices have increased rapidly, pension increases have not always felt enough to match those rising costs. This is why the government has been under pressure to provide stronger support, especially for older Australians who do not have additional income from superannuation, investments, or part-time work. And this is where the conversation about a possible $6,000 payment comes into play. Now, to understand what this payment means, we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The age pension is adjusted twice per year to reflect the cost of living. These adjustments are based on several measures, including the Consumer Price Index, wage increases, and overall living standards in Australia. However, while these regular adjustments help maintain some stability, they do not fully cover the rapid rise in essential expenses that we have seen recently. In response, discussions have taken place at various levels of government and social welfare organisations suggesting that more substantial financial support may be necessary. Some proposals have suggested a one-time support payment, while others have suggested ongoing increases in pension rates. The idea behind the $6,000 payment is to provide seniors with immediate relief that can help cover unexpected and unavoidable costs, such as medical care, home repairs, mobility equipment, or even simply keeping up with everyday household bills. But understandably, many seniors have questions. They want to know, is this payment confirmed? Who qualifies? When will it be paid? And how do you make sure you receive it? These are not just financial questions. They are questions of certainty and peace of mind. And that is why we are here today, step by step, to explain everything clearly so that you do not feel confused or uncertain. In the next part, we are going to discuss who may be eligible, what income and asset thresholds may apply, how the government calculates support levels, and how this possible payment is connected to other forms of financial assistance that some seniors may already be receiving. But before we move forward, I want to remind you once again, very gently, to subscribe to the channel. It is the best way to make sure that when new updates are announced, you hear them immediately. We update daily, and every update is explained clearly, slowly, and respectfully, because you deserve to know the truth in a way that makes sense. As we move forward, it is important to understand how eligibility for the age pension is determined in Australia. Many seniors often feel anxious or confused when it comes to the rules surrounding income and assets, especially because these rules sometimes change and not everyone receives the same amount. But please remember this: you are not alone, and it is completely normal to have questions. The age pension system is complex, and the government uses a set of tests to determine whether someone receives the full pension, a part pension, or in some cases, no pension at all. These tests are the income test and the assets test. And the reason the $6,000 support discussion matters so deeply is that it is connected to these very rules. For many seniors, the amount they receive from the age pension is not simply a standard number. It depends on what the government considers affordable based on what you own and what you earn. For example, someone who has worked for many years and has a modest amount of superannuation saved may receive a part pension rather than the full pension. Meanwhile, someone who worked their entire life without the ability to save much, perhaps because wages were low, or because they raised children full-time, or because they experienced hardship, may qualify for the full pension. In both cases, the individuals work hard, contributed to society, and deserve to be supported, but the system treats them differently. This is why discussions around additional payments, such as the potential $6,000 support, are so important, because many seniors who receive the full pension are living on a very limited budget, and those who receive the part pension may still feel financial strain, especially if their superannuation or savings were never large to begin with. Living expenses do not adjust themselves to match your pension. The world does not lower prices just because someone is retired. So, the responsibility falls on the government to make sure that seniors can live with dignity and stability. Now, let us talk plainly about the income test. The income test looks at how much money you receive from different sources. For some people, this might include a small part-time job, returns on savings, or earnings from investments. For others, there may not be any additional income at all beyond the age pension. The test is structured so that the more income you have, the more your age pension may be reduced. The purpose, according to the government, is to ensure that support goes to those who need it most. But from the perspective of many seniors, the rules sometimes feel strict or even unfair, especially when the cost of living rises faster than the pension does. The assets test works in a similar way. This test looks at things you own: your home, your car, your personal belongings, your savings, and any property or investments. The family home is usually excluded from the test, but many seniors still feel concerned about what happens if their assets increase in value due to market changes. For example, a home that was purchased decades ago for a modest price may now be worth far more, simply because the cost of housing has increased across Australia. But this does not mean that the homeowner has more money to spend on groceries, medication, or bills. And yet, in some cases, the increase in home value may affect how the government views their circumstances. This is where the fairness question comes in. A person may have a home that is valued highly, but they may not have the income to maintain it or to live comfortably. So, when we discuss the possibility of a $6,000 support payment, it becomes clear why so many seniors feel hopeful. Because such a payment could help bridge a gap that the ordinary pension system does not always cover. It could help with unexpected expenses, medical needs, a broken appliance, home repairs, or simply recovering from months or years of trying to stretch every dollar. Another important point is that seniors who receive the age pension come from many different life backgrounds. Some worked physical jobs that took a toll on the body over time: tradespeople, manufacturing workers, cleaners, farmers, miners, and service workers whose labor built and maintained the foundations of our society. Others worked in professions that did not always pay as well as they do today. Some took years away from employment to raise children, care for sick family members, or support others without receiving recognition or income for that work. And yet, all of these individuals deserve to be supported in retirement. This is why the government reviews the age pension regularly. Social policy experts, financial analysts, and community organizations all monitor changes in the economy and the daily realities of seniors. When the cost of living rises sharply, when inflation affects food and energy prices, when rent increases beyond what many can afford, discussions begin about how to respond. The potential $6,000 support is a reflection of those discussions, a recognition that pressures on seniors are real, constant, and growing. But we must also acknowledge something important. Support decisions take time. Government policy does not change overnight. There are budget considerations, parliamentary discussions, and economic forecasts that shape what can be done and when. However, The fact that a support measure like this is being actively discussed and evaluated means that there is recognition at the national level that seniors need stronger assistance. And that is meaningful. In the next part, we will explore how payments like this are typically structured, what timelines could apply if the payment is implemented, and how seniors can ensure their information with Centrelink is up to date so that if a payment is approved, it is processed smoothly without delay. These steps are important because even when support is confirmed, complications can happen if records, bank details, or personal information are not current. So please, if you are finding this explanation helpful and comforting, take a moment and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It ensures you remain informed, prepared, and confident, without worry that you may miss an important update.